All right, everybody. So, first of all, thanks for checking out my discussion post for this week and giving me your feedback. I appreciate it ahead of time. My lesson is kind of an interesting one, so I'll just sum it up, kind of explain what we're doing, and then I'll talk about where the differentiation is built in. So, first off, the students come into the classroom, and I'm going to pose a question about predator prey, about ecosystems, carrying capacity, interdependence. So we're going to be talking about deer and mountain lion, and I'm going to pose the question, what would happen to an ecosystem or to the deer population within an ecosystem if we were to get rid of all of the mountain lions? So basically all the predators of the deer, what would happen? And I'm going to do four corners, so corner number 1, corner number 2, 3, and 4. Corner number 1, the deer thrive, everything's awesome. Corner number 2, everything dies, the apocalypse of the deer, they're all gone. Corner number 3 is they're going to lose more deer than a ecosystem in equilibrium for the deer, the predator-prey relationship. And the last corner is they're going to lose less deer than they would in a regular ecosystem. So there's the four options. I'll have them discussed as a group. They'll be in groups of 4. I kind of like that in my classroom. And then as a group, they're going to move to their corner. And from my experience, I haven't done this with high schoolers, but from my experience with other grade levels, is most of them think, hey, the deer are going to do great. There's no predator. They're going to eat. They're going to have babies. Their population is going to increase. They're going to be happy. Then we'll go out and play the game. We'll do a regular round. Oh, sorry, I didn't even explain the Thursday game. We're going to go out to the field and play this game that demonstrates this interaction. We're going to run through it kind of a normal way, so it's balanced. The mountain lions get enough food. The deer get enough food. Everybody's happy. Then we're going to take the mountain lions away and show them what happens in that case. And then we come back to the classroom, and there's going to be a couple of activities. So this is where the differentiation of learning happens. First is we have our science journals. I want them to reflect on the game, what the game was, what they learned, and was their inference/prediction correct. Then there's a take it further section where hopefully they're coming up with questions that either link them to the topics we're going to be talking about next, or it links back to topics that we've already talked about. So we'll take some time after the journal entries are done. We'll talk about this as a class. This is kind of differentiation in the fact that the higher performing students and the lower performing students and all that are going to be able to interact, change ideas, and go that way. So it's kind of a broadening of perspectives. But the differentiation really happens in the journal and the subsequent article activity where they're reading a kind of a current event about this, kind of like the Yellowstone wolves and deer population that was out a few years ago. That was kind of a big thing. Either that or something similar, depending on which year we're in. And so there's going to be an article and a worksheet. So they have the journal, the taking it further, the article and worksheet, and then they're done. So here's where the differentiation comes in. So the English language learners for the journal, they're allowed to write in whatever language is their preference. That sounds weird, but I just want them writing and thinking about it. And if they can understand it and it's easier for them to write it down in their preferred language, that's awesome. However, they will need to talk to me and communicate it to me in English. I can kind of pick up if we're on the same page or not that way, but I want them to be able to freely write and kind of get all their ideas out, and then if they struggle to talk to me in English about it, we'll work together and make sure that everything's good. Also on the article, I'll give them the same article, but I'll have the important things highlighted. So they just looked at the highlighted part. They're getting the main content without having to read or try to read the entire article. So they're looking at little sentences, matching it up with the worksheet sentences, and answering the question. Then the high-performing students, they're going to play the game just like everyone else. They're going to reflect in the journal. But to take it further, instead of giving them an article, they're going to have to find a current event that talks about this topic. So they'll get on their iPad or on the computers, and they'll find a current event to write 1 to 2 paragraphs about, share with the class. We'll talk about it all. Struggling students, that one's hard. There's a lot of different reasons they might be struggling, but what I put down is they'll play the game like everyone. They'll reflect in their journals, and they'll verbally talk to me about it. So I'll come around and say, okay, so what'd you write down? Talk to me about the game. That way I can see that they're picking up on the concepts. They're able to explain the concepts. Maybe they're not using the vocabulary, but they're able to explain it in their own words. That's going to give us a jumping off point. The average performing student is going to read the article. They're going to do the worksheet, and we'll go that way. Sorry, the struggling students will also have an article that if depending on what it is that's causing the struggle, they might have a highlighted article as well. Or I'll have a video that corresponds with it, and there will be a separate worksheet so they can watch a video and then answer the questions with the worksheet. So that's the struggling students. Average student does the journal, does the article and the worksheet, no real adaptation to the article at all. Special needs students, once again, that's a big spectrum, but they'll reflect in their journal. They can verbally talk to me about it. If their special needs are such that writing's not a really big thing, they can just talk to me about it. We can have a conversation. Or I can put them in groups and they can talk to each other about it. So they just need to talk to someone about how the game went, what they learned from the game, and so on. And then once again, I either have a video for them, or the article, or the highlighted article in the worksheet, or I can read the article to them, and then they can give me the answers back. So that's the differentiation I have for it for this lesson. So once again, thanks. Sorry this is 7 minutes long, but thanks for your feedback.